All right, everyone, welcome back to Central Coast Disc Golf. This is round 2, part 2 of the 2023 Santa Cruz Masters Cup. I'm your host, Nate Perkins, and I'm joined here today with Shasta Chris.
How y'all doing?
De La's playing tough this year, Shasta.
It sure is.
A few of our players under par through the front. Getting right into the back here, hole 10. First of a few really tough par 3s.
Yeah, we're kind of in the gauntlet right here with the previous hole, this one, and the next one.
Yeah, that's right. 9, 10, and 11 are really, that's the gauntlet. Yeah, to get inside the circle on this hole, it says 363. It's probably closer to 420, and you have to throw a driver a few feet off the ground, let it flip up and ride, and then get lucky late in the fairway.
Yeah, it's kind of got a flip up, glide, and hyzer, and go straight. I feel like it even plays even longer than 420. It's probably closer to 500, really, to get the distance you need to get to that spin. Proctor actually slows down a little bit on that one, but hits the line nicely.
Oh, I'm curious if Greg is taking this one high or low. Looks like
I think he's doing the forehand roller. Yep.
I like that play. I've never seen it.
Yeah, he's one of the few people that are not local that actually take that route. He's been playing it that way for a long time.
Pretty clean hyzer from Jacob, and you can see
Yeah.
what he's left with.
Yeah, they're all there in good position to be scrambling, getting up and down for their pars. As you can see, this wind's picking up. This is the part of the course where it definitely gets the windiest too. It gives these sharp-toothed holes even a little bit more teeth.
About as close to a birdie as we're
Yeah.
going to see.
Another great bid. Looks like Greg was just outside the circle there. Pops in his little stepper.
Way to make it not matter. Yeah.
Yeah, Proctor, what's the first time you felt like you heard his name pop up on the scene? I feel like 2010 or 12 or something, James was already like
James?
A-tier contender.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've known James since he was pre-puberty, maybe 12 years old, 13.
Wow.
And yeah, it was funny. I actually got in the shuttle with his dad, Bob, the other day, and it would always be Bob and James at all the tournaments. And I was like, I had no idea. I'm like, how old is James now? I've known him since he was about 12. He's like, he's 28. I had no idea.
Wow.
I'm not good at, my concept of time is very different than most people.
How do you get the birdie on 11, Shasta?
Me personally, I don't get the birdie on 11, but these guys are trying to mostly hit it flat just right of this dead tree you can see on the left. Maybe get a little bit of late drift and then a fade at the end. Gannon's trying to do quite a flex shot, but he was nervous it was going to hit that dead tree, which would be very precarious. But it got through. He should have a scramble for his 3.
Oh, that's going out in the field. You're
Ooh, thank goodness that came back down to the ground. Yeah, this is such an interesting shot. You're throwing over a very steep canyon. You have to get over a canopy of oaks and then back under another ceiling and then try not to stick in any of these trees.
like disc golf when you're gassed is like the worst thing ever. Like when you try to throw hard, that's like me every.
Inside the mind of Gannon Buhr.
I love that. I feel like we need mics on the players sometimes.
I really enjoy it when that happens. It's kind of neat to hear the conversations amongst the card, maybe some of the self-talk. Proctor ended up right where the normal long position is.
Do I hear the wind chimes?
That was the wind chimes.
Whoa.
They're still intact after
What?
all these years.
I didn't actually know there were wind chimes.
Yeah, that's why this is called the wind chimes position. There's a wind chimes dangling up in the tree right above the basket. I actually haven't heard him for quite a while. That was cool.
I don't know another course that each hole has such a story. I think that's one of the reasons why De La, it kind of gets ingrained in your memory when you play it, but when you also just watch it on coverage, because the way that people talk about the holes, the things that happen on the holes, you just remember the rollaways and the good shots. Like it holds on to something very special that disc golf has that I feel like other sports just don't have the same.
Very well put, Nate. I agree. I feel like De La has a personality, and each hole kind of has its own unique personality amongst that, and it creates the whole experience and so many different nuances. It's really hard to ever play a round that feels the same out here.
That's true.
Kind of always a different adventure. You might shoot the same score a lot, but it's going to happen in many different ways. All right, we have hole 12 here, also known as Gravity. It's a short one, but it's also a very specific shot. You kind of try to land your disc very flat, pick left side, right side of this V tree, and try to avoid anything hard to make your disc roll, and hopefully gravity has nothing to do with your shot. Well, Gannon just threw the worst shot he's ever thrown, and it's going to be a tough scramble from down there.
Bink.
Okay. That usually works.
Love the different ways that they projected this there. James going standstill and Greg kind of just doing that little baby step that he does on those 200-foot shots.
Yeah.
And then look, Jacob's going to be going full run up here.
He's got the full run up. I imagine he's kind of trying to slide up the left side. Yep. Well played.
That's so satisfying when you play that left side and you get that perfect little Annie skip that you know that you're going to.
That's when you get to take the victory lap down the road, go drop your bag off at the next tee, and walk down and tap it in. It is. That's what you want to do on this hole, but obviously it doesn't always work out that way. Well, he actually squeezed a look at the basket from here.
Do you have words?
All right.
What?
Put that one on the highlight reel.
Can we get the distance on that? That was a 90-footer, 120-footer?
I would
What
probably
that?
say that was about 80 feet uphill. I remember hearing that on the course.
That's
now.
right. We were trying to decide if it was an ace. We were
Yeah.
on top of the
I
world.
was on top of the world.
Trying to decide if it was an ace.
Yeah. But the
And we
screens
said-
didn't continue long enough, so we figured it was a huge putt.
We thought it was a 100-footer. I remember Bell saying that. Man, that putt was in the air forever, too.
It was.
Full flight putt.
I mean, right out of the hand, I thought he nailed it. It is. It's so cool to see him do a full putt because almost every other disc golfer on the planet has to throw from here. But he just can generate so much spin.
He didn't even jump.
No jump.
And Peter with the beauty of a slow-mo.
So beautiful.
Central Coast, thank you so much for being here and capturing these moments. Oh man, that one was one to remember from Gannon Buhr. Hole 13, the Anaconda.
The Anaconda.
This is a very unique line. This inside line seems to be the ideal one, but I feel like it's the most difficult one to execute. There is a line outside of that tree in the middle. There's also some crafty stuff over the top of that tree.
Yeah, there is a few ways you can get to this pin. I am a strong believer the best way is just left of that oak, as tight as you can bring it to. You can definitely accomplish the shot inside of it, but it needs to be not as turned over.
Go, go, go.
Got some good ground play on that. He's going to have a decision to make on that putt.
That's the play.
That looks
See, the card agrees. A little bit more air, and that was it. Such a fine line from a great shot and the definition of a death putt.
That's the one.
that was almost perfect.
Yep.
And you can't even stress how difficult this approach is. It's
Yeah.
100-footer, but you have all these roots, and whew, if you hit the root wrong and your disc gets up on edge, this is a hole where you can lose your disc.
Yeah, this Anaconda, I mean, it can mess up your drive, but it's usually screwing with your upshots. And where this cameraman is, about 30 feet behind him, it becomes a drop-off that you don't ever want to see your disc go to.
Greg just close enough that he was feeling that one, and
Yeah, he thought he was giving it a bid, but I think deep down inside he knew the repercussions and didn't quite send it. Proctor about 45 feet.
Now James.
Atta boy. So committed, so perfect.
yeah, James has actually made more Circle 2 putts than anyone else on the DGPT this year.
I believe that. I've been watching him do it for a long time.
Just hammers him in, nose down.
Yeah, over the years, he's one of the most comfortable people from 50 feet I can actually think of. He's just so good at that distance. It's like, as you can see, he just stepped up to that 45-footer and didn't even doubt it. He just stepped up, knew, had all the confidence in the world, and hit it dead center. Even with a little bit of trees under his head,
Oh.
having to straddle,
With that ceiling too, Shasta. Oh.
never a doubt. Okay, here we go. We have hole 14 Another blind shot that really, this pine tree that has fallen in the root ball is kind of in the sweet spot. So you're trying to throw just over it, just outside it, hit this little gap between the pine and the oak, hopefully skip up and get a putt inside the circle.
I love that they didn't take the root ball out. Like, oh, we have a new feature.
Oh, definitely. It's kind of how we maintain the trees falling. If they're really in the way, we'll have to cut them up and move them, but we've lost so much topsoil and things over the years, you kind of need the forest to recuperate and decompose where it's at. So it may not be the prettiest, but it's the best for the overall health and longevity of the course. That's the one you got to beat.
Just a little too steep from Jacob.
Too steep, but he's got about a 45 footer there. You should have a clean look too.
There, that's the
Oh, this looks nice.
Yeah, stay a little straight. That's where a lot of really good shots end up. Right about circle's edge. Short left. All right, 99 footer.
Go left, go left. Yeah, there it is.
Little frustration from Greg. Yeah, you want to capitalize on that opportunity on this hole.
Again.
And he gets up and down for his par.
Things are still pretty tight here. Just 3 strokes separating this card, and we're heading over to the hill.
The notorious hill. Anybody who's played De La Viega knows what you're talking about. We're talking about the last 4 holes of the course.
Clean eagle drive right there from Barsby. And this is probably the hardest par 3. Yeah, this one and I-5, I feel like, are just, you get the 2 here, you really don't forget it.
A little turkey running across the screen. Yeah, I would agree. This is a position we only use for the Masters Cup because it is so steep, so extreme. Normally right here on the right is where the normal long position is. A lot of these guys are actually just kind of trying to throw a shot where they can land somewhere around that long position and have a nice clean upshot to this ridiculously steep green.
Proctor getting that destroyer up to speed. And
Yeah,
They couldn't wait. Just a
waking up people on the next tee there.
yeah, Gannon kind of matching that same shape. Great shot.
second. Yeah, usually what we do is
Just
Very controlled. You know, he probably has the distance to get up there in the circle, but it's just so much risk. And if you land on that hill with any hyzer, it's usually going to roll. I mean, with his putt, too, I imagine he's probably going to give that a bid from down there. That's a little bit of ground play is going to make that upshot a lot easier. You get on the left side, it's a very pinch shot where you're forced to throw a hyzer into this green, is which you do not want to do.
Yeah.
Greg wants this to flip.
Oh, I think we're gonna see.
We're gonna see some creativity.
He
I
might
think.
go forehand. Okay.
Okay.
Are we going
Well,
backdoor
did he
here?
find a window?
I've never seen this.
That is,
Barsby.
like I said, that's just Greg being creative. That is not a normal route, but he's working with what the course gave him and well executed.
He's trying not to smile. He cracked one though.
He's probably a little frustrated that he was even in that position, but a great save. Nobody's really getting anything better than a 3 on this hole.
Yeah.
Unless, let me bite my words right now. Let's see here. Oh.
I think so far, before this card played, we just had one birdie
One birdie.
on the hole
Okay.
by Alden Harris on the card right before this one. And that birdie is actually for Alden to take the outright lead of the tournament.
Wow. It's a good way to do it. I wonder how long his putt or throw-in was.
I'm curious as well.
I imagine, he's probably like these guys, throwing it somewhere around that long position and just giving it a bit up the hill. Gannon's actually very fortunate on his bid that it hit the basket and sat. That usually doesn't happen, but got a nice flat landing. You can really see how James really generates so much spin with that wrist cock. Like I said, he's been playing since he was very little, so he learned to throw far at a young age.
What a difference it makes to learn how to spin the disc when you're a child.
Definitely,
you
I
can
agree.
tell the people that
You
are
can.
just a natural at shaping a disc.
They usually figured out when they weren't the size to actually generate that extra spin and have implemented some kind of wrist cock or, yeah, it is. I 100% agree.
Another hole that you really just don't want to look at the distance for any kind of aid on what kind of shot or disc you need to choose. 276 plays like 420 feet.
Yep.
Extremely uphill, and the shape required too. There these bushes that you either have to shape it right between them or start something high, and it's like you have to throw either this force over like that or something quite understable that is like flipping up through the gap.
Definitely. It's
Ooh, like this shot right there.
Right
That's
there.
the hyzer flip up through the gap.
wow, he got all the way up there too. He's gonna have about a 40-footer straight down the hill.
No, you really don't see too many people putting from over there.
No, you don't. But he got up there nice and clean. This one has changed over the years with the pine trees that have fallen. It's kind of created a different route to the basket. The airspace, other smaller things have grown up and taken the place, and now, yep, the line that used to be the best line is actually here on the right, and it's just overgrown now. Gannon's bid sits nicely by the basket. Ooh. Barsby getting frisky on that run.
It's a scary one. Can't blame him there.
It really is. Looks like he probably has about the same distance coming back up at it.
The day love.
No doubter. With all the confidence in the world. You know, that's part of day law. You see some cabbage in the way, and you just got to send it through it. You know, maybe aim a little bit high, account for it to drop, and that's what he did there. Great bird by Proctor. This one definitely feels like a bonus. That's what we're talking about.
Quality putting performance from Greg in Circle 1 today.
Look at James just shaking hands with the basket. Beautiful follow through.
Hole 17.
Hole 17. One of the only flat, straight shots we have at De La Viega. There's no real elevation change on this hole. But if you get off the right or the left, there definitely is. We're looking at about a 350-foot straight shot.
I feel like this is right in between a mid and a fairway for a lot of players. I think with a little headwind, we see people kind of disc up to the fairway.
Yeah, as you notice, there's not really too much ceiling to deal with. So it's kind of like if you want to throw it higher, maybe you can throw the mid-range, keep it a little bit lower, throw the fairway. Looks like Gannon just did it just right. That looked like a mid.
Beautiful shape there, that Annie to flat shot that he loves so much.
There you go, dude.
Ooh, Jacob kind of matching that with the mid.
Yeah, it's beautiful. All right, looks like he got to the ground on that one. Yeah, as you can see how thick the grass here is at the top of the hill. Normally by this time of year at the Masters Cup, that would almost all be hard pan and you'd be able to get more ground play to the basket. But if you land anywhere short or right, it is not moving out of that grass. Greg a little right side, but the basket does its job and catches the putt.
Yeah, I think he's probably feeling a little frustrated, sitting at even par on the round after a 5 under yesterday, and they'll all do that.
Than he wants.
Yeah, he hasn't thrown a lot of bad shots. It's tough to score out here.
It is. Well, here's one more birdie opportunity for them. We've changed the top of the world this year and actually are having it in hole 6's long position. It's a par 4 with a mandatory at this fence that you can see in the middle of the screen. You have to be left of that, and there's an OB defined peninsula kind of where you can see this signage on the ground. So ideally these gentlemen are trying to throw a shot that's going to land fairly close to the road so you can get a nice straight approach to this tricky green with OB all around it.
Kind of a tailwind right to left today. Makes the forehand the more common play. Kind of pushing something stable out toward the road, having it drop down. It's a good shot, but that's also a pretty tricky spot to approach from with a finicky green.
Jacob electing to do with the huge hyzer.
The difficulty with this shot. Sorry, Shasta.
Oh, it's okay. He was just asking for it to get to the ground, and
that's exactly it. You get the nose 2 up, and in that right to left wind, and that the backhand can just carry way over the road.
For sure. The tailwind can kind of make the disc react and either pull it over the road or actually suck it to the ground. Proctor doing a very safe shot. No surprise, Greg electing to do the forehand here. He brings this a little bit. He's flirting with the Mando here. And it looks like he just beats it. The corner of that structure is the Mando, so he just hit the fence just past it.
Any short, misses the Mando.
Yes.
Longer, he's OB.
And this drop zone is not easy. You actually have to go back 100 feet underneath the tree canopy to a very tricky upshot.
Oh, look at this.
Look at that.
That is a beautiful approach from Proctor. That he's going to have that to move to 9 under par.
Jacob gauges the speed just right on that upshot. Well played.
Jacob's going to have that to stay on the lead card.
Awesome.
Now, we saw Gannon kind of struggle with that shot yesterday, and he goes with the 160-foot jump putt on that one.
Yeah, I don't think he was as stressed out today because the wind, as you can see, has died down a little bit for this shot for them. It makes that touchy upshot so much more tricky, especially because you have to get it up in the air to get over those little guardian trees, which means you have to get it nose up.
Solid back 9. Not a lot, but 3 under plays.
Yeah, he finished his round out really well there. He wasn't having the best score, but, you know, he's definitely still kept himself in contention to win this tournament.
Good to see James play some good golf on camera.
Heck yeah.
He's made quite a few camera appearances this year out on the tour, and
Yeah, it's
he's
becoming a
becoming
regular thing for him.
He's becoming a household name in the disc golf community.
All right, there we go. Round 2 in the books.
Ooh, a little Barsby forehand slow-mo for you. We're going to take a look at these scores. Tough start for our card, but they got it together, and everyone is under par. James leading the way with the 5 down. He's going to be on the lead card, just 1 back of Gannon, Buhr, and Alden Harris, who find themselves tied at 10 under par. Jacob Blair stays on the lead card. Cole and Andrew and Greg are just 4 back.
Yeah, I would say that everybody who's in this top 10 still has a chance to win this tournament. It's kind of like who's going to bring the heat.
And we could not commentate this round without sharing with you guys. It was a wild day in Santa Cruz, Shasta. We lost a pillar in the disc golf community. One of your good friends, John Baldwin. Shasta, do you have any words for us?
I love you, JB. I wouldn't be where I am in my disc golf career if it wasn't for you. And I know you'll always be with me on the course. And I appreciate our friendship, brother. And you mean so much to so many people. And this is very difficult, but I love you, brother. I hope you're in a better place now. And hey, don't be afraid to tell your friends you love them. And if you're in a dark place, reach out to somebody that loves you and talk to them, you know? We're a communal species and we're meant to be together, and, you know, we're here to lift each other up. And, yeah. I'm going to miss you very much, JB. You meant so much to the disc golf community, and you were such a good human being, and I thank you for the time that we had together.
And Jonathan Baldwin lived just up the hill in Scotts Valley for 20 plus years and was a pillar of the Santa Cruz disc golf community. He won the 2011 world title in the Masters division here at De La Viega. And It is an incomprehensible loss to the community, and we'll never forget him.
Definitely won't. I won't go a day, won't pass by where I don't think about him. One of my best friends, one of the best humans I've ever met, and thank you, JB, for sharing your light when you did with us here. We're gonna miss you.